Okay, Jeremy here, Jeeps Unlimited, 303-666-9020, partsbreakers.com. Not really much to say on this one. Pretty good. I mean, we don't, pretty good meaning excellent. I don't usually go into too much detail on them. If they spec out, fine. When I mean I spec out is we measure them. We measure them even if most of our Jeeps come in running dry. Let me first say, you may know who we are, so if you do, great. If you don't, they're not wrecked Jeeps for the most part. Every once in a while we'll buy something that's got a rollover or something on it, but it's, you know, I would say in the 40-50 TJs we part a year, 3 or 4 we buy wrecked, and it's usually somebody locally comes in. So I really try to do our due diligence and buy them completely untouched, and try to buy them unmolested, meaning there's not a lot of modifications done, specifically welding, cutting, grinding, that kind of stuff. So, but even though we buy them like that, we still spec them out, we still measure them, because you never know what the Jeep's been through in the back. Prior to us owning it, maybe it was in a fender bender before. So it's just good to do that. And I would advise anybody buying a frame to have whoever you're getting it from give you the reassurance that is done. And we also scope them, and the scoping is kind of unnecessary. For years we never did that, but with so many people moving here from out of state and trying to put lipstick on pigs, in a sense, we just said let's just scope them all, and if we come up with something, then we'll notate it. If not, green light, we're good to go. So that gives you the kind of the reassurance that you need. I do these videos so that you can essentially as if you're standing here next to me. That's what I want. I want to create that. I've done this for, like I said, 18 years now. And I really want you to have the confidence going into this, like, hey, look, I've seen this frame like you was. So I'll get up close here in person here second. The last thing I want to say is that what you're seeing is what you're getting. This is the frame that you will receive. We do not list this frame and represent 10 other ones. Every frame, every tub, every aesthetically body part is listed as its own. So no surprises when it shows up. And the black paint, ladies and gentlemen, that you're seeing on this thing, this hasn't been cleaned, well, it has been cleaned, yes, but it has not been cleaned in the sense of painted. This is literally factory paint from, whatever year, and this is a 98. So 98 Wrangler, do the math, you're talking 30 plus years. And this black, sometimes they're really shiny. I love that, but it doesn't happen very often. But this black is literally the assembly line black that it rolled off with. So you don't see that on frames that have had rust issues. Usually you see, somebody's lipstick on a pig, they painted over it and made it shiny. And that's not something we do here. So if it's something you want, let's say you're in a hurry, you're not gonna have time to sandblast. You don't have to sandblast them, but a lot of people do, or paint it on your own. We can grab some paint. We use a good product and we can coat it, but I don't do that before you see it. I want you to see it in its natural, unmolested state. So that's a little bit about that and about who we are and what we do out here with these guys. Been doing it a long time, like I said. So, and specifically been doing frames and tubs a long time. So, all right. So without further ado, I'll go through it. I'm going to point out pretty much anything, but a lot of the stuff I show you is going to be just redundancy. So, okay. So nice, solid, straight back. This area is almost always wallowed out, and this one's in perfect shape. If you get any aftermarket bumpers on them or any kind of fender benders, this piece goes, you can see it's a pretty thin piece of metal. It gets dinged up pretty easily, and this one's perfect. The top of this area here, you got a little oxidation. Oxidation is simply black paint, right, rubbed off, and you get flash rust. So this is nice and smooth still. There's no scale buildup here. This wouldn't even need a wire wheel, although you definitely, could do it if you're going to be painting it. A Rust-Oleum product, something like that, just to give it a little added protection. But there's no scale, anything in here. And then another thing, I want to point out 2 things here. One is the mount holes. Okay, those are perfectly circular. And I say that because typically on rusty frames, these will get pretty oblong and eaten out pretty easily. So that's going to hold this frame nicely to secure to your tub like it should. The back ones are in as good a shape. And then these studs back here, again, a rusty frame, you're going to break these off pretty easily, whether you're putting them on or pulling them off. These break, so nice, clean. Those are for your rear shocks, no big deal there. The coil spring buckets are almost always going to have a little buildup. These are actually really clean. They got a little oxidation there, but nothing bad, nothing scaling there. Same there on the outside. And even on really clean frames, you'll see these sometimes beat up a little bit. Those are actually in really clean shape. So both control arm mounts, excellent shape, nice, clean, straight, no rust in those guys. Inner frame, this is an area when we scope them, we scope them from the front, from the rear, and into the side here. And the reason is because on a TJ frame, when you see rust in them or they completely break, this is the area, these back horns, they love to rust out in the Midwest, East Coast, back through here, or coastal areas. So this frame is beautiful inside. The frame rails, you know, through here are just, they're like brand new. I mean, this to me is actually not good enough on a clean job, but I couldn't find the right nozzle, so it's got a little bit of, this will come off. This is just dust, okay? And nice, okay? Once again, all your mounts, obviously they're nice and clean straight there, but also perfectly circular, and then coming up to your front here. Now it is a 6-cylinder frame, your mounts. If you need a 4-cylinder frame, I think we have one of those left right now, but on a 4-cylinder, they're tucked back a little bit. They're sitting almost right on top of the upper controller mounts for the shortness of the block there. Okay, top of the coil spring buckets, both sides, excellent shape. Again, no rust there. Sometimes these little pockets here will fill up with stuff and get pretty rusty down there. This one's clean. And then of course you have your radiator front support one there. There's a total of, I know this, I think it's 11, it might be 10. So we got one, these are your body to frame mount spots, okay? And I usually go over this more on tubs, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, yeah, 11 of them. Okay, so that's what secures this guy down. And that's it. I was gonna say I don't need to do anything else, but I haven't flipped this one yet. You can't do that. Can't do a frame video without flipping it. And they're not super heavy. I'm doing this by myself. And I'm getting old, but still can move these things around pretty easily. They're about 350 pounds. Not too bad. So get that brick out of the way so I can get some photos here in a minute. I'm about to dead on my phone, so I'll have to wrap this up fairly quick, but I want to show you up close and personable here. Okay, no cracking, everything's good. Steer gearbox, okay, and this is an early frame. If you need a later one, call us, because those are different slightly. They essentially work the same, but there is some modifications you have to do to make them work on each other. Okay, really nice clean control arm mounts. Those almost always get banged up, especially if the Jeep's lifted. This one was stock, so we're good there. And then these guys, check these guys out. Look how clean, nice shiny threads, right? Nothing's broken off, nothing's loose in here. These are basically a big old welded nutsert. And a couple things happen with those. One, you'll break a stud off in them. That's a pain in the ass. You gotta extract them. They don't usually extract very well because they're so big. Another thing that I see on these, on rusty areas, is you go to break them loose and they'll break essentially the weld on the inside and they'll spin. That's even more of a pain in the ass because you got to cut into the frame or make a real big hole and pull it and put another one in. So these are really clean. Furthermore, look at that. I just listed a really nice frame, but in this particular area, metal on metal, that one had something weird on it, but it had a little bit of, about a quarter size on both sides. This thing's not only got hardly any of that, well, it's nothing like that actually, little oxidation, barely any at all, but still has black paint. That's very rare to see on that. I know that sounds weird, that little area, but that's how OCD I am about these things. And again, I've been doing it so long, I kind of see what they go through and whatnot. So that all looks great. This back support, bottom side, beautiful. Back through here, excellent. And then lastly, let's just, you know, usually I pull these when we stack them. This is probably not necessary because these cups you can actually replace. This one's got a little bit of flaky on it, but nothing hole-wise or anything like that. But I want to show you, I can get my hand under here. And I didn't clean under there, so they might be a little dirty, but yeah, no, not even dirty. Look how beautiful that is. These almost always get rusty, especially in rust coats. So not only is it not even oxidized, beautiful, smooth, like butter, all the way around, okay? And then same thing, I bet, over here. Yep, same thing, so. And you can replace them, but heck, if you can get a frame that you don't need to do any work and you just bolt it on, I say that's the one you ought to get, so. Okay, again, 303-666-9020, partsbreakers.com. I know Chris has got somebody lined up for this frame, possibly.